Hey guys, and welcome to Petrol Ped. Now, I've owned my Audi S4 Avant for coming up to a year, and I thought I might do a bit of an update video for you, and also I am on my way down to Cornwall on a bit of a road trip, and I thought I'd also see just how much stuff it's possible to get into an S4 Avant. And believe me, I think I have managed to do something very successfully. I've even had to put the roof box on. The roof box is full of stuff, from presents to my gear to my camera gear inside. Yes, we're renovating a house in Cornwall, so I've even got 2 toilet seats, bizarrely. Petrol Pooch is going to sit just there. Petrol Pup is going to sit just there. Don't worry, she won't be drinking the gin. And then round the back. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to get a great deal more into the car. So I am going to go and get the pups, get the car all locked up, and get on our way. And on the way to Cornwall, I've got plenty of time to give you an update about my last year with this car. It's just had its first inspection and oil change, so we'll talk a little bit about that, and just generally how I'm getting on with the car. Whoa, at least the boot's shut. Now, I think this is going to be way more of a challenge. Oh, I reckon. Put it down a bit. Hold on a minute. Let's put you over there. I hate roof boxes. I saw a car once, the roof box had come open and everything had gone all over the motorway. I don't want that to be me. Now, I'm going to go and get the pups. Okay, pups all in place. Petrol Pooch in the back with her racing harness on. Alright, I'll lock that door. Oh, only just closed. And then Petrol Pup in the front. We always put her in the front because she has a tendency to be a little bit car sick every now and again. And again, a little harness. Now, just in case you didn't know, by the way, dog owners, if you have a dog loose in the car, so if it's not harnessed in like that, it's a £1,000 fine and a 3 penalty point endorsement on your licence. So that's why we strap them in. Well, it's for their safety too. So I reckon we get going. Well, we are finally, and I say finally because I'm at least an hour later than I'd hoped, on our way. It's something like 220 miles to get to a house in Cornwall, so it is a fairly hefty drive, and that's assuming that the traffic behaves itself, because as anybody from the UK knows, if you're driving from southern England to Cornwall, you are very limited on routes, and those routes clog up really quickly, and when they do clog up, they turn into the most horrific traffic jams ever. So I'm really keeping my fingers crossed. The girls have settled in really well, so let me just explain a couple of things. So firstly, why am I going to Cornwall and why is the car so full? Well, there's a couple of reasons. One, obviously we're only a couple of weeks away from Christmas, and I'll now actually be down there all the way through Christmas, but we've been renovating our house in Cornwall over the last 3 months, and it's becoming very close to getting finished. It should have been finished a few weeks ago. And therefore, I have a car full of stuff, because we're going to be renting the house out next year. So I have boxes full of crystal and all the breakable stuff. We've got toilet seats, we've got all kinds of utensils for the kitchen. And this is the first of many trips. We've got a lorry coming down, or a Luton van coming down later on this week. I've got lots and lots of deliveries arriving at the house this week, which is why this week, although the week coming up, I basically planned to do some YouTube stuff and some other work, that all got canned, and I'm now at the house for the week, basically organising all the deliveries and the final fit and finish of the house. So it's super exciting, but it's a really good reason why we have an S4 Avant, the estate car format in our family, because they are just super practical. I like this bit of the journey as you start to cross the New Forest. So, the first thing I want to talk about is the fact I've just had my first, well, it's not a service, it's an inspection, and that's my slight bone of contention. So Since we bought the car, we've done just over 12,500 miles. The car in total has done just over 19,500 miles. So it was up for its 2-year inspection and oil change. And that's pretty much all that they did. So it had an oil change, and it goes through a whole bunch of different checks to make sure everything is okay. I just put new tyres on, so they were okay. The brake discs are about 50% worn, so and pads, they were okay. They didn't need changing, so nothing needed changing apart from the oil and the inspection. My challenge with that is that cost £5 shy of £400. Yeah, I mean, it wasn't a major service. I didn't have any spark plugs changed, no filters changed. It was literally an oil change and an inspection, and I think that's a lot of money. Now obviously I did that through the main dealer because the car's still under warranty, and I want to make sure I maintain its second-hand value when I come to change the car. But I do think that is a lot of money. I mean, in the past, I just remember them being, I don't know, maybe £300 for a medium service and £500 for a full service. I kind of get that, but that was just an inspection. Now, that does see me okay for the next 2 years, so that's fine, but I still think that's a lot of money. 400 quid for an oil change. Wow. We are making good progress, but I kind of didn't think this through. I had to put so much stuff in the car. I've actually got a flat screen TV behind my seat, so the seat is really, really far forward. I always say in my videos I like the steering wheel nice and close to me. Not this close. I am quite cramped. So the next thing I wanted to have a chat about is through my lifetime of the car, fuel economy and just general the economics of running the car. Now, my long-term memory that I've got set I've done 12,500 miles, but my long-term memory is still set. I've done 8,500 miles on long-term memory at an average speed of 37 miles an hour, and I've averaged 28.4 miles per gallon, which I don't think is too bad really, because that obviously there's a lot of kind of short runs and things in there as well as the long stuff. Interestingly, so far on this trip, we're 73 miles in, even though I've got a roof box on, which is about as aerodynamic as having a block of flats on top of the car. I'm averaging 35.5 miles per gallon, which isn't bad. So for me, the fuel economy of this car is really, really good. Now, clearly, once you start pushing on and you want to exploit that nice turbocharged V6 petrol engine and all 354 horsepower, that economy figure does go down a little bit, but it's not horribly bad. It's really, really good, and that for me is the really great thing about this car. And the thing I was most disappointed about when I recently had the diesel S4, the new one, and I did exactly the same trip we're on, and it will be interesting when I get to our destination to Mevagissey. I'll tell you what my actual trip is all the way, because I think I can pretty much match or maybe even beat the diesel S4 with a roof box on, which I shouldn't be able to do. Well, I have pulled over and grabbed myself a sandwich and a coffee because, well, I just needed some caffeine. So, apart from the servicing, this car hasn't cost me anything other than tyres. So I did need to replace the tyres after about 18,000 miles, which I didn't think was too bad. They had worn pretty evenly. Now, I haven't tracked the car. That was just normal motorway miles and normal kind of everyday usage. So I didn't think that was too bad. And then if you see my recent video, I've now put winter tyres on the car. A quick report for those: we haven't had mega winter conditions yet, so certainly no snow, for example. But where I am noticing a little bit of a difference is when it's really cold, and by really cold I mean certainly less than 7 degrees, definitely less than 5 degrees. You just feel like there's a little bit more tack and a bit more purchase in the car, and that's entirely down to the softer compound of the winter tyre that basically maintains its kind of plasticity when it's really, really cold. So I am
it's probably the first year ever of driving where I really want it to snow. I want to get out there and give them a go and give them a try. The question is, are there any things that I'm not that keen on, things that I'm disappointed with, or things I would change on the car? So, things I'm not happy with. So, I guess we need to just take a little bit of a step back, and if you watch the video that I did when I first got the car, I didn't spec this car. I bought it used. It was an ex-demonstrator, and it was a really good price and had most of the things that I would want on a car, but it didn't have everything. And one of the things that my old car had that this car doesn't have is keyless entry, and I do miss that a great deal. Although interestingly, once I put that up online, the amount of people who got in touch with me and said, look, actually, having a keyless entry car, there's some real security risks and there's lots of cars being stolen and so on. So perhaps not having keyless entry is less of an issue. The two things I would quite like on the car that I don't have is I'd really love the Audi Matrix LED headlamps, because they are game-changing. They are so good. And the frustrating thing is, I often get press cars, as you know, and whenever I get a press car with that kind of technology on them, I'm really, really gutted I don't have it myself. And then the other thing, this car just has standard cruise control, and I'd love adaptive cruise control, because again, when I get press cars that have adaptive cruise control, I just realise how much I like that feature. One of the things that does annoy me greatly, and it's a little thing, now if you can see the displays at the moment, I've got the sat-nav. You can have the view as Google Maps, and I just think it's brilliant. But for some reason, and I'm sure someone will probably put in the comments, please tell me why this happens, every now and again it defaults just to normal map view, and you have to go into the settings and set it back as Google Maps, and that does my head in. So what are my favourite things about it? What are the things that just make me smile, or the things I really, really love about this car? What are the things I love about this car? Sticking it in sport mode and that noise. That is the number one thing I love about this car. The soundtrack, and I'm actually in efficiency mode, so if I just put it in, if I go into the drive select program, and much better. So yeah, the soundtrack, the sportiness of the driving feel, I love it to bits. By far and away the thing I love most about this car is just the auditory pleasure I get when I stick my right foot into the carpet. The next question is, what are my long-term plans for this car? We've had it for a couple of months shy of 2 years. We had our old S4, best part of 4 years. Do we plan to keep this long term? Well, honestly, I can't answer that question because I don't know exactly. However, something really interesting has happened. So you probably know that I have the JCW Clubman as a long-termer from Mini UK. In fact, Mrs. Petrol will be joining me in Cornwall in about a week's time, and she will be driving that car down. Because when I had the car for 3 months, I asked if she could be put on the insurance. And Mini UK very, very coolly agreed, and therefore Mrs. PP has been driving that car around quite a lot, and she likes it quite a lot. In fact, words even came out of her mouth recently, she likes it better than she likes this. So the challenge with the Mini is, and why we love this car so much, this car is a hugely practical car for our lifestyle. We've got the 2 dogs. As you can see, you can pack loads of stuff in it, stick the roof box on the roof, you can get loads of stuff in there. I could have my bike on there as well as the roof box. It's a very, very practical car. The challenge with replacing this with a Mini Clubman is, much as we love the Clubman on day-to-day usage, that every now and again where you need more luggage space, more room, more practicality, I think the Mini would be found wanting, and that is a challenge. Here we go. We are entering Cornwall. Woohoo! How far have we got to go? We have 40 miles to go. The girls are still fast asleep. I heard a peep out of Darcy in the back, absolutely flaked. See, look. Honestly, so really interestingly, it is exactly 1 year to the day that I first met this one. We went to the breeders a year ago today to see the batch of puppies, and Hallie chose us. So it's a whole year ago today. We didn't pick her up till towards the end of January because she would have been only 5 weeks old a year ago today, but it's been the best thing we've ever done. We are now within 2 miles of our destination and an absolutely brilliant run. So, final little bit of an update in this video is my short-term memory for this trip. Now, by the time we get to the destination, I will have done about 226 miles, 4.5 hours, and my fuel economy, with an average speed of 52 miles an hour, is 32.7 mpg. Now, with a roof box on the roof, I actually think that's pretty good. I'm quite chuffed with that. And as I said, long-term memory is running at about 28.6. So, you know, somewhere between those two is probably the likely mileage that you're going to get, or the, you know, the economy you're going to get from this car. Anyway, as we come into Mevagissey, from the driver's seat and the very, very full Audi S4 Avant, from me and the Petrol pup and the Petrol pooch. I hope you've enjoyed this one. As I said, a little bit of an update. Love the car. I love driving it through here as well. But this is when you just quickly stick it into individual mode, so you get a little bit more, and then you even get a few pops and crackles. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed this one. If you have done so, please give me a thumbs up. Comments below are always welcome. And if you haven't done so already, please subscribe to Petrol 4. Plenty more content to come. I always get comments whenever I do a little video of coming through here about how narrow the streets are in Mevagissey. They are hugely narrow, and this bit you're either lucky or you're not, depending on whether there's a car coming the other way. And let's see if we're lucky. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this one. I'll see you on the next film, guys, but you take care. Drive safe. Are we going to be lucky? Are we going to be lucky? Come on, we're going to be lucky. No! Oh, denied! Right, let's get these reversing skills in order.